Hey, welcome back to Homestead HQ, where we talk about homesteading and preparedness. My name is Shelly.
And I'm Jason, guys. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, we're glad to have you. Uh, First off, we'll thank one of our sponsors for the podcast is VacMaster. VacMaster makes commercial chamber sealers and home use chamber sealers. They've got a huge line of butchering knives. We use those pretty much exclusively. And actually, I just got done sealing up a bunch of pork that we had Saturday at our meetup. We had quite a bit of it left over. I brought it home with me, sealed it in those bags, stuck it in the freezer. I've got a quick video that's coming out with it, but we've got an affiliate link listed below, and you can save 15% off your order by using code Homestead. And but go check those guys out. Shelly, what have you got happening on your homestead?
Yeah, I'm super excited. The guy that so it's the ongoing saga of our fence, right? The guy that comes and bush hogs our field came down, and after our daughter and son-in-law pulled all the fence posts, he came down here and bush hogged past where the fence line was at, and we're gaining probably at least 2.5 to 3 more acres on our pasture. I am super excited about that.
That's great.
I know, and past the fence line, because there was one post that was left out there because it was right in the middle of a big, like, wild blackberry bush, and Jessica and Josh couldn't get to it. So, that one was still out there. He has bush hogged probably it's like about 15 to 20 feet past where that fence line was at, all the way around the perimeter of our property. So, when I came home yesterday and saw that, I was super excited. So, and so I talked to the guy, the fence guy. What is today? Tuesday. I guess I message him yesterday. I think I messaged him Sunday, and he told me that he would be out in 3 weeks, hopefully, to start working on the fence. He said he was going to call me about a week before he came out so we could call, what is that, 811 or something that you call to find out if there's underground stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he said he was going to call me a week in advance so we could call and get that taken care of and make sure there's no problems there. And then he would be out to start working on the fence.
That's
So,
all.
yay!
Hopefully in about a month you'll have fence then.
I hope. Gotta hope.
That'll be nice. So I hadn't done too much. I'll be honest. I'm still working on the clearing out the food forest somewhat. That's kind of got excuse me, it's kind of got out of hand. There's some stinking major weeds down there. I've just been taking the loppers and cutting them off because I really don't want to disturb all the soil there and pulling that up. Some of those weeds have got massive roots, and I'm just going to cut these things off the ground with loppers and let them be. Cut them down 2 or 3 times. Hopefully they'll just be like, forget it, I'm done. And it took part of my time Saturday, of course, and we'll get into this in a little bit. We had our homestead meetup. So Saturday we were out of pocket all day, so I didn't get anything done. And I was dead after that on Saturday. And I actually came home and took a nap for a few minutes. And Sunday went to church. And after church, I was like, I'm just going to hang out with everybody. And we hung out with the family, played Monopoly and all that fun stuff. And then back to the grind of working on Monday. So that, and then my newest predicament I need to do, the neighbor's field across that we're grazing the animals in has got stinking so much broom sage in it. And the animals will eat it when it's young, but once it gets bigger, it gets real woody kind of stalks on it, and they will not touch it. And I think what I'm going to have to do is split that pasture. I've got it split. There's about 4 acres. I've got it split into 2 sections. I think I'm going to have to split it into 3, possibly 4 sections and really graze it hard because they're eating all the stuff that they really like, and then they won't touch that broom sage, which they will eat the broom sage, like I said, when it's tender, but they're wanting to eat all the clover and the fescue and everything else in there before they touch the broom sage, and they're just grinding everything else to the ground.
So you want them to eat their vegetables for their dessert, right?
Exactly. I've looked at it, and I looked online how to get rid of the broom sage, and they said it's essentially what I've come to the conclusion. I'm going to probably have to lime everything real good because everybody around here is like, if you lime the fields real good, it'll take care of a lot of the broom sage. So I'm debating on whether to do like powdered lime or just get a spray. I can spray it a lot easier. Like the liquid lime, I can go out there with the ATV sprayer and spray it real good. So I'm going to try to do that. So that's another task that I've got on my checklist to do one of these days.
Fun.
Yeah, but and it's funny though. The rest of the pastures, like my pastures on my place, we don't have any broom sage on it. It's just across the driveway that's just filled up with broom sage.
So I've got a shout out as far as homesteading stuff, because in our newsletter, and if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, you need to go to KentuckySustainableLiving.com and sign up for that thing. That's where you're going to get all the up-to-date information about anything that's going on with the festival or any events that KSL has. But a couple newsletters back, I had put in there that, to let us know, give us an update what you're doing on your homestead, and I'll give you a shout out. And I got an email back from that. So shout out to George McKenzie. He says that his garden is really putting out. I'm really jealous because my garden really sucks. And he is canning food, like excesses of food. So good job, George, and get those preps put up and that food put away for your family. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm jealous too on that. So my garden is pretty much next to nothing. But like I've said before, I'm going with more of a perennial system instead of an annual system. So that and just life gets in the way. And I was like, screw it, I'm not going to mess with it right now. So I can grow meat a lot better than I can grow vegetables.
It's so much easier. I mean, so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, growing meat. I mean, I can grow meat with the best of them. That's for sure. So, what sliding on in our next? Shelly's got some news, and our news is brought to you by Signature Solar, signaturesolar.com. We've got an affiliate link listed below in the description, and you can use code Homestead for that, and it'll save you a little bit of money. And go check those guys out. But what news have you got for us, Shelly?
Did you know that they have they have invented electric bandages?
How does that work?
Have you heard about this?
No.
So it's just ingenious. Okay. So the bandages have, let me scroll down here. Hold on a minute.
It sounds scary to me.
They're hoping that it will work for people who have like diabetic problems, like slow healing kind of things. These bandages, the success rate that they're getting with them, which right now it's just with animal testing, right? Just like with everything else. But they're finding that these bandages will heal wounds 30% faster than just regular stuff. Okay.
So they're like trying it on diabetic mice?
Yes. Actually, yes. That's what they're doing. Isn't that awful that they would cause a mouse to get diabetes? But anyway, I mean, I hate mice. I can't stand them in my house, but yeah.
Yeah, drink all this Coke, mouse, and we're going to turn you diabetic.
So it says these electric bandages have electrodes on one side and a small water-powered battery on the other. The dressing is applied so that the electrodes contact the wound and the battery is activated with a drop of water. The bandage then produces an electric field for several hours. That electric field is critical because it's well established that electric fields accelerate healing in chronic wounds. It says the electrodes are flexible, so it can maintain contact even in deep or irregular, I can't even talk, weird shaped wounds. It says it's been tested on diabetic mice and which are commonly used as a model for human wound healing. I guess that's where they start when they start testing stuff. That sounds amazing to me.
Oh yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. So
the reason it caught my eye is because my mom, when my mom was alive, she had a wound that was that bone that sticks out on the side of your ankle. She had a wound. It was, I don't know, probably like the size of 3/4 of a dollar, I guess. And she had it for years, like most of my life, and had to have like what are those people call it? Home health. There was somebody from, I'm pretty sure it was home health, that would come 2 or 3 times a week and redress that wound. And it just never, they tried to do skin grafts, all that stuff, and they couldn't get it to heal up. Um, this is, I don't know. This is just really cool. I thought that was a neat story.
Well, maybe it'll get out of the testing phase, and I mean that's pretty neat. I mean, especially because I've seen like a lot of the diabetics and stuff like that. Their
Mm-hmm.
wounds will never heal, and they end up having to amputate toes and feet and stuff like
Yep.
that. My uncle had to have that happen before he passed, and I remember all that. So, well, that's some good news. Maybe they can get that going, and it'll be something new to help people out.
My other story is kind of weird. And maybe it's weird because, we live in America and I don't know. But apparently in Poland, they are using horse milk to make ice cream.
That sounds odd.
Yeah.
But of course, in Europe, they eat horses too.
They eat horses in Europe?
Yeah. You can
That's
go
gross.
get like a horse steak and all kinds of crap and a horse burger.
So this really made me have to. I kind of went down a rabbit hole with this because I'd never heard of anything like this. And I know y'all, if anybody has comments about this, put them down in the comments or email us or whatever. But it says horse milk has beneficial enzymes and proteins that are not found in cow's milk. And in the article, it says that a lot of times people who have problems digesting cow's milk, they don't have those problems with horse milk. So I started Googling this to figure out, like, is this really a thing? Let's see. I found this article. It says, while the idea of sipping mare's milk might sound unusual to Western readers, it's been a traditional staple in Central Asia, where it's often fermented into its KOUMISS, Kaumis, a mildly alcoholic drink that was adopted by Russian doctors in the mid 19th century as a treatment for tuberculosis.
That's odd.
I don't want to drink horse milk. I don't want to drink alcoholic horse milk. I don't know. And it was funny because isn't it a white Russian that is like that white stuff that allow that's what I thought of when I read that thing. I was like, they're making white Russians and that's what it is. It's horse milk. That's ew. So
Well,
I don't know. Anybody out there tried horse milk? Let us know.
I don't know. I mean, people are doing dairy sheep. I mean, they've been doing dairy sheep for a while. So, and then I know goat's milk has the same thing. I mean, a lot of people that can't drink cow's milk can drink goat milk.
Well, this even says a lactating mare will produce about a liter of milk every 2 hours. They
Really?
can be hand milked, commercial milked, or, use a commercial milker or a syringe. And it says the only problem that people really have is that they're kind of skittish. And so if you use the mare to start getting the milk and then you kind of move in there and start doing it, she won't even know what's going on and you'll be good to go.
Well,
I don't know.
personally, I despise horses, so you're never going to catch me milking a horse. I'd rather milk the meanest cow in the world than milk a horse. I just despise horses. So,
What's your hang up with horses?
when I was in high school, I worked for a vet that went to church with us. He's the best horse vet in Kentucky, probably. It's Dr. John OBrien. He lives right up the road from me. But I helped him in high school, and it's kind of like being a pediatrician. If you were a pediatrician and the only time you were exposed to kids was in the office, you'd be like, I don't want a stinking kid because they're always sick. They're always crying about something. There's something always wrong with these things. And you'd be like, I don't want one of these little turds ever. I'm not having kids. So the only time I was exposed to horses pretty much was when these horses were having a bad day. They would come in, they're hurt, their legs cut, they're sick, they're colic, something like that. And it's like, I don't want a stupid horse. I got kicked so many stinking times and just beat on. I was like, I don't ever want a horse. I hate the things. And I was 15 at the time. that we had one of the stud horses. Bo was his name. I'll never forget this stupid horse. I brought him down, or one of the vets brought him down to the barn, and he did his thing, breeding some mares. And they're like, take him back up to the stud barn. So, and of course, you got a chain around his nose where you can pop him where he'll listen to you. So I'm walking him up the road, the gravel road going back to the stud barn. There's mares out in the field. He's starting to get excited and rearing up, and I'm popping his nose with the lead rope and everything. And he just keeps going. And I'm like at a steady trot, keeping up with him. I'm like, I hope I can get him to the barn. Finally, he takes off, and I'm like, I just let go of the lead rope. I'm like, I ain't dealing with this crap and getting killed. So I come back, and they're like, where's the lead rope? I was like, it's on the horse. And they're like, you can't leave a lead rope on a horse when he's in the stall. I was like, shit, he ain't in the stall. I said, he's out there trying to get those mares. And they're like, what in the hell's going on? I was like, he started acting crazy. And I was like, I'm 15. I said, my life ain't worth a stupid horse. And they're like, you can't do that. And I was like, by God, I did it, and y'all go fix it. So me and horses don't get along.
All right, then.
But if I had to have a horse, I would get like a big Belgium.
Those ginormous ones?
Yes.
Like the Clydesdales or something?
Yes. We had a Belgium horse at the vet clinic, and she was the sweetest thing in the world. But man, you walk in the stall with her, and like she filled up a stall. She was that massive.
Wow.
So, all right. All right.
Talk a minute about the meetup.
All right. Well, main topic we're going to get in about the meetup.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, the main topic today is building community, and we did some of that this weekend. Last Saturday we had our first KSL Homestead meetup. We had it was awesome and disappointing at the same time. I'll be honest with you. We had about 81 people signed up to come. We fixed everything for 81 people, and we ended up with 36, 37, something like that. But hey, I'll take 36 or 37 over nobody. But it was a real good time. We had out at Just Piddling Farms, Chip and Jill have an awesome place. They let us use their facility out there. It was a good time. Shelly, tell them what all we went over there.
Oh, well, we had 2 workshops. In the morning, we had Lawrence McCoy. He's part of our KSL group, and he presented at our spring festival. So if any of you all were there, he did the apple cider vinegar presentation. And so that's what he talked about again this time, because he's like, he just knows all the things about that. I love, learning from him. And then the Kowalskis. So Kowalski's Mountain, if you go follow them on Facebook. That's the name, not Facebook, YouTube. That's the name of their YouTube channel. Philip and Barbara Sue they have some acreage here in South Central Kentucky. They're living off the grid, like completely off the grid. They have livestock. They have, is it Dexter or Jersey?
Dexter.
They have Dexter cows. They got chickens, all that kind of stuff. They're raising crops. They're smack dab in the middle of a bunch of Amish families, and they kind of trade work back and forth, helping out with, what they do, and they come and help them. They also are beekeepers. Philip has been a beekeeper because they used to live in Florida, and Philip was a beekeeper in Florida. So he's retired military, and so because of that, he is part of the Hives for Heroes. So he signed up. He's a mentor, and what they do is you sign up. A veteran can sign up to have a mentor, and they work with them. It's like 18 months or 2 years or something like that. And then after it's done, they get a hive and can start raising their own bees and everything. So Philip does that. Him and Barbara Sue are they just know all the things about bees. If I ever start raising bees, I'm going to reach out to them to get some help with that. But it was a lot of fun having those sessions and learning that stuff. And my oldest grandson was there, and he had all kinds of questions for Philip. And even afterwards, he went up to him and was asking him questions and stuff, because he's very interested in having bees, and his little sister Clara Beth is not interested in having bees. So they were arguing about whether or not they were going to do the whole bee thing.
Yeah, and I mean we had the two workshops. They took maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours out of the day. We had lunch, but the big bulk majority of the day was pretty much everybody sitting around picnic tables. I mean, we had phenomenal weather, but everybody sitting around. Yeah, everybody sitting around picnic tables, and people would kind of rotate around picnic tables and just talk to everybody. So it was pretty much all day. You got to talk to different people. We kind of had everybody introduce each other, introduce themselves, kind of what you're doing, where you're at, stuff like that. And it was awesome. I met some really cool people there, and I've already talked. One of the guys was Mark. I talked to him. I'm going to meet up with him sometime. He's fairly close. So, I mean, we had Chase and Bailey. They came in from West Virginia.
We had a woman that came in from Texas.
Yeah, she was like doing a round trip or something like that, and she just came
looking
through.
to move. Yeah. And she's checking out Kentucky, and she just showed up. She's a super nice lady.
Yeah, and then Brian and Susan with S&B Homestead Radio, they came up from Mississippi. They've got also, if you want to come August 24th, we're having a radio class that Brian and Susan are teaching. You can sign up for that on the website. Just go to KentuckySustainableLiving.com, sign up there. It's going to be an awesome class. But they came up. We had quite a few people from Tennessee. So
yeah, there was a bunch from Tennessee.
Yeah, which was great. I mean, because I'm right on the border of Tennessee, not too far away, so I welcome Tennessee people to come on up. But it was an awesome time. That's one of the things what we're going to get in. We're pretty much in the main topic and everything, but that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about on how you build community and why it's important. Like the first thing that I think you need to do on building community is get to know your neighbors. If you don't know your neighbors, you've missed a critical step, because those are the people that are closest to you, whether you live in a subdivision or whether you live out on acreage. There's somebody that's close to you, just like Shelly and I are over an hour away, but we can still rely on each other for stuff. But yes, I know my neighbors, and honestly, it's bad to say, I've went down the road and took stock of my neighbors and know kind of who you can count on, who you can't count on. So, I mean, that's one of my first steps on that. One thing it does, it builds your network that's closest to you. So those people that are closest to you, you can build a network super close, and it also builds an intelligence network for you also, because those, and go check out Mike at Forward Observer. He talks about your intel studies and your area studies and stuff like that. But those neighbors that are right there close to you are intelligence nodes that you can get information about. If one of your neighbors works for planning and zoning, go talk to him, and he can tell you some of the stuff, what's coming up with planning and zoning before it's actually public. So, I mean, that's a great thing to know what's coming into your area before everybody knows. So what about you, Shelly? What do you think about neighbors? I've got like 5 or 6 things of ways to build your community.
Well, one of the things that I think is really important, and this is why at the meetup that, I asked everybody to introduce themselves and explain, what they do or maybe what they have or whatever. I think it's important for us to support each other, and not like if I can go to Jason and buy whatever sheep meat, or what is that, mutton, I guess. If I can go to him and buy that and not spend my money at Walmart or Sam's or Myers or whatever, I would rather do that. I would rather support him and him support me. And, so I wanted everybody to introduce themselves and tell if they had products that they made on their homestead or things that they sold or anything like that. One of the ladies that was there, she makes elderberry wine, and I am going to connect with her because I want to try that, which I love elderberry anyway. But I just think it's important to me to take my money out of the system as much as I can. I know there's still going to be things out there that, we buy or whatever, but as much as we can, take our money out of the system and support each other with that. And because Walmart doesn't care about you, but Target doesn't care about you. All those other places don't care about you. And I would just rather support people that I know and small business and that kind of thing. So that's one of the things about building community that's important to me.
Yeah. And then, I mean, another place is look at Facebook groups and online groups. I mean, there's tons of preparedness and homesteading groups on Facebook. It seems like every day another one pops up in my feed, or two or three a day. And a lot of them are getting specific on stuff. It can be a state group, it can be, or a county group, or just a regional, like South Central Kentucky, homesteading. There's stuff like that you can find. I mean, our Facebook group, we've got the festival Facebook page, but we've also got a KSL Facebook page where it's a private Facebook page, and you can join that group. There's tons of stuff. I know, like Dixon County, Tennessee, has got a Dixon County Homesteaders Alliance.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a thing, for Dixon County people and surrounding counties. So I mean, you can look about joining that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And along those lines, when I first met Jason, the first time that him and I talked on the phone, I guess we were going through the process of the whole vetting thing for KSL. I remember he said to me that because most of the people that I knew in homesteading were not around here. And it was because I had made connections with people through YouTube and, started reaching out to them. And so when I met Jason, he said, it's good to have, those connections, but what if you need something? And they're like in South Carolina or, wherever they're at. And he said, you need to make connections with people here in Kentucky. And that's absolutely right. But now, and I've made, through KSL, I've made lots of connections with people here in Kentucky, and I'm thankful for those friendships that we've made and everything. But even outside of that, like I feel fairly confident that if I was traveling across the United States, there's somebody close to where I'm going through. I've met that many people through YouTube. And I shouldn't say through YouTube. I've met that many people through festivals. Now, I've heard about the festivals through YouTube, but then I've stepped out of my comfort zone and gone to these things and met these people and, sat in their classes and talked to them during breaks and all of that kind of stuff, started to form friendships and that kind of thing. And now, we know people actually from coast to coast. There's Porterhouse and Teal in California. There's the Bonds in North Carolina. I mean, there's Angry Prepper up in New York. There's people down in Florida. I mean, seriously, from coast to coast, we know people throughout the homesteading community. And maybe I don't talk to them every day, but I know that when I go and watch videos that they put out and stuff like that, I'm usually inspired to do better on my stuff or to go work on something. And I appreciate that. So that's a big part of community to me as well.
Yeah, and going and talking about knowing people, in other states and stuff. Chester, that's in KSL, he lived in Kentucky. He's from Oklahoma, and he's moved back to Oklahoma now. And I called Chester when I was going out to help Grindstone on a deployment. I called Chester and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be in Barnesdale, Oklahoma," and I was talking to him about it. And he was like, "I'm not super far away." He said, "If you need something," he said, "you give me a call and I'll come do whatever I can to help you." He's like, "You've got my number." And I'm like, sweet. I was like, that's awesome. And then driving out to Oklahoma, there were some other people that I knew, that were around there that if I needed something, I could call them up and be like, "Hey, if my truck broke down or something, I could call them and they would be more than willing to come help." So
exactly.
That's the great thing about it. Another one of the things I've got is there's places to find people like your local meetups that we just had. I mean, we just had an awesome one. There was 36, 37 people there that we got to know on a one-on-one, in-person kind of deal. There's places that go on, and I made a whole list of places, just, throwing it off the bat. There's your local meetups that people are doing. Farmers markets is another great. I mean, all those people, granted, they might not, think is in the preparedness aspect, but they're thinking in the homestead aspect. So
Right.
farmers markets are a great place. Ham radio clubs, as long as you can get past the sad ham guys, that everything's by the rule book. You can meet quite a few preparedness people in ham clubs.
That's why they need to come to our class and meet Brian and Susan, because they're not sad ham people.
But the sad hams are probably never going to change.
It's okay. Hang out with Brian and Susan. It's all good.
Yeah. There's, your kids' schools and sporting events. I don't know how many times I've met guys, and you can look at them and kind of tell, if they've got like a FJB shirt on, it's like, that's probably somebody that I want to talk to. Or if they've got, a grunt proof shirt on or something like that, it's kind of like those guys probably think the same way. And if they kind of give you the head shake, and you can sit down and talk to those guys. I've met a lot of guys like that at baseball games and stuff. Another great place is church. If you go to church, talk to the people. Go to Sunday school and sit down and really talk to these people. There's quite a few people I've met at church. And honestly, there's one lady at church, I would have never thought she would have been in preparedness in my whole life. And I've known this lady my whole life. And I was talking to her, and she looked at me and she goes, "You're into preparedness, aren't you?" And I was like, "No." And she goes, "You're lying to me, Jason. I've known you all your life." She's like, "You are." And I was like, "Are you?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And she just like spilled the beans. I was like, my jaw dropped, and I was like, "I never thought you would be thinking like that." And she goes,
hilarious.
"Yeah." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've got all kinds of food stocked and this and that and everything else." And I was like, "That's cool." So church is another great place. Gun stores and gun ranges. I mean, the guys are already into guns. Most of those guys are into some kind of preparedness aspect of life. Training classes, go to these training classes. One, you're going to get some awesome training. Whoever's putting it on, whether it's us or another place, these training classes, you're going to get awesome training. And a secondary aspect is you're going to meet people that are already kind of, pre-certified and think the same way that you are.
Even if you're not one of those people that like to, go up and talk to people and everything, if you're going to these things like what Jason's talking about, take the time to network. Just sit down with somebody that you don't know and eat your lunch and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Take the time to network, because you'll meet some amazing people out there, and they probably don't want to talk to anybody anyway, or, either, because I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a lot of introverts in our world, but take the time to meet them when you go to these things like what he's talking about.
Yeah. And the last place, and it might be a little controversial, but like a CERT team, which CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. They kind of do like search and rescue and stuff like that. That might be a good thing. I know some people don't want to get involved and, quote, get on another list.
Is that kind of like volunteer fire departments? Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like get involved in stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of. The CERT isn't the acronym for Community Emergency Response Team, to where they're doing emergency response and search and rescue and that kind of stuff. But that's kind of some of your local places that you can meet some people at. Another awesome place that I've met, no telling how many people, are the festivals.
Mm-hmm.
You'll meet several hundred people coming up in October at our festival. I've met tons of people at the other festivals that I've been to. I mean, they're not hard to find. I mean, we've got our festival, there's Self-Reliance coming up in October. There's Midwest Preparedness. There's Mountain Readiness. There's just, and it seems like there's tons of festivals going on, and there's new ones popping up. But pretty much no matter where you're at in the country, there's a festival within a few hours drive of where you're at.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome learning experience. I honestly when I go to festivals, I very rarely listen to any of the speakers. I'm out talking to people because that's what I want to do is meet and talk to people. And last festival I went to, well, last time I went down to SRF, I did not listen to any of the speakers. I sat and talked to people all day is what I did. So, but
I
that's,
know these festivals kind of turn into they're like little homecomings or family reunions or something after you get to know these people and make those friendships. It's just like you get to meet up with them and see them again.
yeah, and get to hang out for the weekend. It's fun. I mean, I look forward. I honestly look forward to our festival because all these people a lot of them I hadn't seen since March. They're going to come back in, and you get to see them, 2 to 3 times a year. Is amazing to me. So I look forward to those. The last kind of thing on building your community, if you're out there and you can't find a community that's already started, get off the couch and start your own. I mean, I was in a group before I started KSL, and I was like, this thing's not really working. It was not what I was wanting to do. Long story on that, but ended up after I got out of it, we started KSL, and that's how KSL was born. I mean, we started this from the ground up. So you can do it. You just got to get off the couch and get off your butt and do it. I mean, it's not that hard, and you can make it as big or as small as you want to, but that's kind of what I've got as far as building community. What else have you got, Shelly?
You pretty much covered it, dude. That's I feel like, that last one, the festivals, I've met most of my homesteading friends through festivals and, you know, been able to hook up with them there and listen to the things that they have to teach. And that's where most of it happens. I love going to festivals.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any Q&A this week?
I do not.
I don't have any comments or anything that I can think of right off the bat or any questions. So what's our Hickory Ridge soap tip of the day?
So my tip of the day kind of goes along with our topic. How do I put this? So when you're trying to build community, because you might meet someone, you have a group of people, and if you're really trying to be strategic about it, like meeting someone who maybe a doctor or meeting someone who's really good at a skill that you think would be a good fit for your group kind of thing. Don't take it personal if they don't want anything to do with it. Because I think sometimes, we'll meet people and they kind of show a little bit of interest and then they kind of back off or ghost you or whatever. And that, some people just aren't at the same place that we're at. So you just move on and go to the next one. I mean, it's, you can invite them to be a part of the group or part of your community and all that kind of thing. And if they want to do it, fine. And if they don't, fine, just let them go. It's okay. But don't take it personal. It's all good. You'll meet it. One of the things you'll find your core group, those people that you can always count on. There's people that I can always count on when something happens at our place. And even when we had the Homestead meetup, Jessica, when she was standing up introducing herself, she's our oldest daughter. She stood up and told them, she said, or maybe it was Josh. I think it might have been Josh, her husband, but one of them stood up and said, we had some really big storms that came through our area a couple months ago. And, Josh, who is a 911 dispatcher, he was at work when this storm came through and it was the middle of the night. And Jessica heard, I want to say it happened probably around, I think it was 1:00. She heard a tree come down and it was on the end of the house that their bedroom is in. She heard the tree come down. She went outside. Tree is completely destroyed their chicken coop. Thankfully, it didn't destroy the shed. And so she texted me, but I was in bed asleep and didn't get the text till the next morning. Josh came home from work to check out the damage and then had to go back to work because it was a big storm night. There was a lot of calls. So the next morning they get up and their chicken coop is completely destroyed. They don't know if their chickens are even alive because it came down on the back of the actual coop part of it and all of that. And so she called me and told me what was happening. I got off the phone and I started texting all of my KSL friends. And I was like, I texted Jason and he said, give Lawrence and Mike a call. And I'm texting them and everything. And then Josh got home from work. He was super tired. He went and laid down for a few hours. And when he got up, we had, what was it? Like 75% of the work done.
Yeah.
So, when you're building your community, and I'm talking about those people that you can rely on, the people that are going to be there for you. It might seem like I don't know where I'm going to find these people. I don't know who that's going to be, but you'll find each other, I guess is what I'm saying. Your core will begin to grow and you'll add more and you'll add, it'll just go on from there. And I'm just really thankful that we have that core group of people. And I thought it is growing. I was thrilled with how many people. I know Jason said he was a little bit disappointed, but I'm the kind of person that I'm like, the people who are supposed to be there were there. And I was glad I got to meet them because I was very energized by their energy and how, the things that they're doing and the things that they're excited about. And I'm like, yes, this is my core. This is my group. This is who I'm supposed to be around. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell you an instance of where people have ghosted and stuff like that, or you really thought they were in. It's been two years ago, probably. I mean, there were several guys that live around me and couples. I mean, these are stand up guys, and I had them all over on like a Friday night. We sat down in the shop and we're kind of talking. I was explaining some stuff to them, and I'm like, if a couple of your families want to come to my place when the balloon finally goes up, I was like, you're welcome to. And I knew these guys, knew they were solid guys. And I was like, but this is what I expect. And I read off a whole laundry list of what I expect. And they just kind of looked at me. And we were going over some different scenarios. And some of these guys left bug-eyed and were like, I can't believe this guy's talking about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, it kind of hit home, I guess, to them. But after that, none of these guys did anything. I was like, I was offering all kinds of stuff for them, but they didn't want to put in any effort. And I'm like, they really showed me who they were. And I was like, if they all they had to do was put in a little bit of effort and they were going to have a lot of stuff in the end, but they just didn't want to put any effort. And I'm like, those are not my people. Then if you're not
right.
if you're not going to put forth the effort, it's not like I was asking them to, well, we're going to build this bunker and it's going to cost you $1 million to get in. It's like, dude, I was talking about just food and water kind of stuff. You need to have food, water, medical, that kind of stuff. It's not like we need $1 million to buy a tank or something. It was realistic.
See, that's the thing. You found out who those people were. And you're right. They're not your people. So, I mean, it's better to know now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's the tip of the day. Don't get too discouraged about stuff. I know I get discouraged. I was hoping 81 people would show up, and I'm happy, that we had the people that were there, and those people are the ones that are going to put forth efforts. They put the effort to come to the event, hang out with us for the day, had good food, good fellowship, and the only bright side of 81 people not showing up is I've got a bunch of pulled pork.
And it tastes doggone good, right?
Yes, I was getting it already in food or chamber sealing it and everything, and I was putting some in the bag, and I would grab a little bit and eat it, and I was like, if I keep doing this, I'm not going to eat dinner. So,
Randy knows how to smoke some butt. Let me tell you.
Yes, he did a good. Kind of festival news, closing some stuff out. We've got a new sponsor is Caliber Armor. They're actually a local, and I will call it local to Kentucky. They're one of our big sponsors. They actually sent a whole armor kit. They sent a plate carrier and plates for us to put in the raffle. I've got a video that will be coming out. I got it Saturday, but I'm going to do a quick video showing the plates and the plate carrier. But you can go, if you go, it's caliberarmor.com. And if you use the promo code Homestead10, you will get 10% off your order. Like I said, it's a local company. They're in Louisville, Kentucky. They actually make everything in Louisville. And that's one of the things when I was talking to the girl, I'm like, y'all aren't farming this out to somebody else. And she's like, no, we actually make the armor in Louisville. And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah. And I'm like, can I come up and see the factory? And she goes, yes, come up on a Thursday or a Friday, call me ahead of the time and you can come up. So hopefully one Thursday or Friday before the festival, I'm going to run up there and take a tour. So, but we've got a set of armor, going to be putting in the raffle. That's one of the things.
I would love to go up there too. Let me know when you go do that. I'd like to go see that.
All right. Oh, it's going to be cool. I'm excited about going, meet the owners and all that. Tractor Supply. I talked to Tractor Supply. And this is about the raffle too. They're either going to have another chicken plucker for us to give away, a generator, or a chainsaw. So apparently the Yardbird chicken pluckers are on back order and hard to get for some reason. The manager is telling me, and I was like, if you can't get a chicken plucker, I was like, a chainsaw or generator, people will get excited about. And he's like, I will do one of those three.
That's awesome. Yay. I'd love to get a generator.
Yeah. And I did finalize all the plans with Yardbird. Yardbird is sending their guy down to do chicken processing. We're going to do a chicken processing on Saturday and Sunday. He's going to do that. And Yardbird is giving us another plucker to give away. So for sure, there will be a Yardbird chicken plucker in the raffle one way or another, possibly two. So, Shelly, run down.
I don't have my list of speakers in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I was just looking for. I don't have that list in front. What? Wait. Maybe I do. Hold on a minute.
I've got it right here.
Well, I do want to talk about, so Joe is working on getting all of our workshops on the website. And, but let's give him till the weekend, because I've loaded him down with a bunch of stuff to get on the website. But so we're having 4 workshops on the Friday before the festival. These are all separate from the festival. Let me think. Okay, so we've got 2 full day workshops. So they're going to be like 8 hours from 8 to 5, and we'll provide lunch for those. One of them is a canning class that's going to be done by Angela from Grumpy Acres. And she's going to be covering all the things: rules about canning, water bath canning, pressure canning, canning stuff like meat and soup and those kind of things. She's going to be talking about all of that. And then the other 8-hour class that we have is the S&B Homestead radio class that Brian and Susan are going to be coming to do. It's actually the same class that they're going to be doing on the 24th. So you have 2 options to get that class: either the 24th of August, or is it the 25th? That's the day before the festival.
Yes.
Yeah, the 25th of October. And then we have 2 classes that are 4 hours long. So one of them, the morning class, the morning 4-hour block, is going to be Chuck Peoples from Homestead Medical. And he's going to be doing a suture and closure class. And it's also going to have wound care and stuff like that in it. And then in the afternoon, Leslie Gossett from School of Earth and Awe is going to be doing an herbal class, and she's going to be teaching all about tinctures. And you'll be able to take home some stuff that you make too. So go on the website, KentuckySustainableLiving.com/workshops, and you can find all of those classes. But give Joe until, give him a couple more days, because like I said, he's overloaded with stuff that I just sent him. So.
And I will say, as far as the radio class on the 24th of August, that's coming up here, it's going to be at Just Piddling Farms. It's going to be a little bit more in depth, because I've talked to Brian, and we're going to be setting up antennas outside, expedited antennas, and we're actually going to get in vehicles and drive around and show real world scenarios and real world ranges that we can get with that. We're going to do a little bit of that right before the festival on Friday, but we're kind of limited on what we can do at Western. So this, if you're thinking about the radio class, the one to come to is on August 24th. You're going to get the same information, but probably a little bit more hands-on and a little bit more in depth at the one on August 24th than you will right before the festival. So then that's probably it. We haven't got any new speakers yet. We've got a few new vendors. The vendor spots are filling up. If you want to have a vendor spot, go to the website and fill out the vendor form. We would love to have even more vendors. But that's about all I've got for today. I've got to go eat dinner and then a bunch of other stuff. And we will see y'all next week.
Have a great day.